All right, we're back here on VelocityRadio.fm, Business for Lunch, talking with Ashara, is that correct?
Ashara.
Ashara, pardon me, from Harmony Heart Coaching at Harmony Heart Farm. And we're talking about equine-based coaching as opposed to therapy, but it's an opportunity, it's a way in which people can learn more about what's going on inside themselves and perhaps find answers to some questions they did or didn't know they even had, and it's primarily through the equine gestalt coaching method. I describe a session, again, for people who haven't been on horses, the thought of a horse being able to understand what a person is thinking or feeling sounds like an alien concept. But anybody who's had pets know that, a dog is sensitive. If you're upset, the dog knows that. If you're nervous, the cat knows that. So animals are sensitive to we humans. And before the break, you talked about it's really all about energy. And quantum physics has proven that. We're all vibrational beings, and we vibrate at different frequencies, and that's what creates different forms of matter. Again, a little too much science there, but we all have energy. And right. You say the horses can relate to that.
They can. They feel it. They feel, and they can feel the authenticity behind it. I really don't know how they do it. So a session, first of all, a session, whether it's in a workshop environment, which is multiple people, or if it's an individual session, the safety and the confidentiality of the client is always paramount. We want the client to be comfortable. So we'll set what's called a container to make sure that they are grounded in their body, because a lot of this has to do with somatics. And we'll just sort of start a little dialogue. And usually the horse is standing nearby. We don't start the dialogue in the round pen. We start outside the round pen. And the horse is usually standing nearby. Depending upon what's going on with the human, the horse may come over, the horse may stand far away. It really, really depends. And everything the horse does is an indication of what's going on. So it's my job to kind of pay attention to what the horse is doing and interpret what the horse is doing. Very often they'll just come stand right there and they watch. They watch very closely what's going on, how it's feeling. They might turn their body. They might, they're giving me messages about what's happening. So once we get to a point where maybe we've got an experiment set up, we'll go in the round pen, engage the horse. Let's say, for example, somebody's trying to make a decision about something. So they can do A or they can do B. So what we'll do is we'll put down a pole on the ground. It's called a polarity pole. We'll have the person stand on one side as decision A and speak to decision B. And based on what they're saying, what they're doing, what they're feeling, the horse will give messages. Are you really there? Are you really feeling it right? If the person is right on about how they're feeling, the horse will usually just come stand right next to them.
So the horse gives those messages primarily by its body motion?
By its body language.
Okay.
Yeah. And in an environment like this, for people who understand or who have been around horses, the horses are given more control over what they do. Like, for example, if you had just a riding horse, you wouldn't really want it to be touching your arm or nibbling or, doing something. But we allow the horses to do that. So we're always very careful what horse we use with which thing. I've got a young one that she hasn't quite figured out yet that teeth should not be involved. So, she doesn't do that kind of work, but she works really well outside the round pen. She's got really good stuff going on.
Are the horses specially trained?
No.
They're just regular old horses?
They're just regular old horses. The horse I was telling you about earlier, her name is Zimi, the one that was balancing chakras.
Yes.
She's just a quarter horse mare that we bought because nobody wanted her. And she hangs out. She watched my other mare work for a while. Well, I do have to tell a little story about that because my other mare, my older mare, who's a Frisian, taught Zimi what to do.
Frisian cats, those are beautiful horses.
They are.
Yeah.
And she taught Zimi, which was just amazing. But they just learn. And they inherently know what it is. Zimi just had, she had her own stuff going on. And she's very, they are very authentic, very in the moment. And she was a little not sure about how to do the coaching. So in her very first coaching session, the Frisian mare stood outside this pen that Zimi was in and said, and I say said, but it was with her body language. Zimi was looking at her, they were looking at each other, and I could feel it in Zimi. She's just like, so Wilma, my Frisian, said, watch this. So she moved and put herself in such a way that her throat chakra was lined up with the client's throat chakra. So I said, is there something going on with your throat? And the client said, yeah, I have rickets. Well, Zimi did exactly the same thing. So she lined herself up. So Wilma just kind of showed her, here's how you tune in. Here's how you do it. And Zimi, she picked it up fast because she's only coached maybe half a dozen times, and to watch her balance somebody's chakras was amazing to me because she's never done that.
Do you or the coaching history and training of that indicate that certain breeds are more attuned to coaching than others, or gender?
I don't think so.
Geldings and mares?
Yeah, geldings and mares.
Stallions?
I wouldn't use a stallion. I don't know about others.
Okay.
I don't think Melissa recommends using stallions because they can be a little unpredictable.
They can be.
Yeah. But we've used geldings, we've used mares. They all seem to have their own sort of expertise.
Generally, are the better coaches older horses as opposed to younger? Do you use young horses as well?
We do use young horses. By the time they're 4.5, they're to the point where they can start to focus. Because they're like kids. They're just like kids. Mm-hmm. And they have the attention span of a flea when they're little. So
yes, they do.
so kind of watch them, But there are also. I have a friend who has a 3-year-old Icelandic horse who is amazing because he has the right kind of temperament. He's very calm, and he just gets in the round pen and works his little butt off.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of older horses come to this work because people, they can't ride them anymore. Mm-hmm. They don't have any other use for them, and so we'll adopt them. But age doesn't seem to make a difference. And Zimi's 12. One was 22. Mm-hmm. Lily's 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you have all mares.
I have all mares.
Okay.
Just turned out that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds also as if the people who come for the work need to be open, need to be receptive to things. Like in the beginning, you talked about grounding, and you talked about things that some people who haven't done a little bit of work or aren't a little bit aware of some of those, for lack of a better word, again, spiritual aspects of ourselves might not be quite as open. Is that true, or not so much?
I don't think that's necessarily true. I think all the person who's coming, the client, needs to be is willing to look at their stuff, and it really doesn't matter how they approach it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you mentioned that you do both group and individual sessions.
We do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's dependent upon the client, if they want to work in a group or they'd rather work alone, or is it something you recommend based upon the client?
It's really up to the client. Some people are more comfortable in an environment by themselves. Workshops are usually based around a theme. We have a couple workshops. Couple products coming out next year that have to do with animals and their pets, because I love animals and that's my focus, is to help people become better pet parents. So we have one workshop that I do with a colleague called Can You Hear Them Speak? And it literally teaches you how to hear your animal talk.
Well, we have another lady here on the air. In fact, she has a show on Tuesday is Kim Baker,
Yeah.
who is an animal communicator, and she talks about it all the time. And again, to a lot of people, that's all airy fairy, but there's a strong frame of mind that definitely is possible.
It is possible. Yeah, definitely possible. I've been an animal communicator for quite a while, and it's all energy. That's all it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we're going to go off to a commercial, and actually we're going to end Business for Lunch here today on BlossyRadio.fm. Thank you for being with us, and I think we may do a little more chatting here, and perhaps have another show we're going to be recording that we'll talk a little bit more about equine coaching here. And thank you, pronounce your name correctly, Ashara. Thank you very much, with Harmony Heart Coaching at Harmony Heart Farm. Thank you very much for being here, and stick around. We'll be right back here on BlossyRadio.fm.
And you walk, let's be strong.